Have you ever noticed how much of yourself you give away? Your time, your attention, your energy to people, habits, and situations that give little or nothing in return. You keep showing up, answering every call, saying yes, even when your heart says no. Until one day, you realize you've been pouring from an empty cup. But what if you decided to stop being constantly available? What if you chose silence over noise, presence over pleasing, solitude over constant access? When you stop being available, everything changes. Before we go deeper into this transformation, take a moment to subscribe to Menzi and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future reflections on Stoicism, self-mastery, and inner peace. The cost of constant availability. We live in a world that glorifies accessibility, instant replies, constant presence, endless engagement. We've been conditioned to believe that being always available makes us kind, reliable, valuable. But in truth, being endlessly available often means being endlessly drained. It means saying yes to everyone else while saying no to yourself. It means letting your worth be defined by how much of yourself you give away, not by who you truly are. The Stoics would tell us, what you give freely should never cost you your peace. When you stop responding to every call, when you allow silence to exist between messages, when you choose your presence intentionally, you begin to reclaim your power. The power of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates that you control. They define who has access to your energy, your time, and your attention. Many fear setting boundaries because they think it will make them seem selfish or distant. But a Stoic sees it differently. Boundaries are an act of respect, not only toward others, but toward yourself. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Sometimes protecting your peace means others won't understand you, but your peace is not up for public opinion. When you begin to limit your availability, you create space. And in that space, clarity grows. Silence as strength. When you are always available, you fill every silence with noise. You answer before you think. You explain before you're asked. You justify what doesn't need defending. But when you become comfortable with silence, you discover something profound. Silence is strength. The Stoic mind understands that silence is not absence, it is presence intensified. In silence, you hear your true thoughts. In silence, others reveal themselves, and in silence, you realize how little needs to be said. The person who is not afraid to withdraw, to be still, becomes unshakable. The shift in relationships. When you stop being always available, people start to reveal who they really are. Some will respect your new boundaries, others will resist them. Those who valued your energy only when it was free may drift away. It's not rejection, it's revelation. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." When you withdraw constant access, you make room for relationships that are mutual, respectful, and intentional. Not everyone deserves your immediacy. Not everyone should have your constant attention. Your energy is sacred. Give it where it is honored, not where it is exploited. The return to self. When you are always available to the world, you become unavailable to yourself. You forget what solitude feels like. Not loneliness, but solitude, that quiet space where you reconnect with your purpose and your principles. The Stoics practiced reflection daily. They knew that stillness is not wasted time, it is renewal. When you stop running to answer every demand, you begin to listen to your inner compass again, and something subtle but powerful happens. You start to value your own company. You learn that peace does not come from being needed by others, but from being aligned with yourself. The transformation begins. At first, stepping back feels uncomfortable. Guilt creeps in. The world may not understand your quietness, but the more you hold your ground, the lighter you become. You start to realize how much noise was unnecessary, how much energy was spent on pleasing, fixing, explaining. You learn that distance can be healing, and that not every call requires a response. The less you chase, the more you attract. The less you explain, the more respected you become. Your presence gains weight, not because you speak louder, but because you have learned when to stay silent. This is the first step toward a quieter, stronger life. When you stop being constantly available, you no longer live reactively. You live intentionally. You choose your moments. You guard your peace. You act with purpose. In the next part, we'll explore the psychological and philosophical shifts that occur when you stop being easily accessible, how your relationships evolve, how your self-respect deepens, and how true freedom emerges from selective presence. When you stop being available, something profound happens. The noise fades, and what's essential begins to emerge. You start to notice where your energy flows, who truly values it, and where it was quietly being taken for granted. This moment of clarity can feel both freeing and unsettling. You see the truth of your relationships, your habits, even your own motivations. It is not always comfortable, but it is always enlightening. The psychology of distance. When you distance yourself from constant accessibility, your mind begins to reset. You realize that much of your stress did not come from the world itself, but from your constant reaction to it. Every ping, every notification, every demand for your attention fragments your focus. Your energy becomes scattered, your thoughts restless. Stoicism teaches that attention is a form of possession. Whatever holds your attention holds power over you. When you reclaim your attention, you reclaim your power, and in that quiet, you rediscover your sense of autonomy. You stop living in reaction mode and begin to respond from a place of calm and strength. You become intentional, not just about who has access to you, but what truly deserves your time and energy. The rebalancing of relationships. When you step back, the dynamic in your relationships changes, and that's not a bad thing. The people who were drawn only to your availability will start to drift. Those who value your presence, not your constant access, will remain. True connection does not require constant communication. It requires depth. When you are no longer always available, every interaction becomes more meaningful, more deliberate. The Stoic mindset invites you to measure relationships not by frequency, but by quality. Are you being uplifted? Are you learning? Are you growing together? This quiet rebalancing filters your circle naturally, revealing authenticity over convenience. The power of saying no. Saying no is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. The world often rewards those who say yes. Yes to every request, every invitation, every favor. But the Stoics remind us that time is our most precious possession. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." When you learn to say no without guilt, you begin to live in alignment with your values. Every no is a yes to something more important: your peace, your growth, your priorities. To live stoically is to know that not every opportunity deserves your presence, and not every noise deserves your response. The calm that follows. At first, people may question your distance. Some may even call it coldness, but soon you'll find that silence brings peace, and peace brings strength. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop seeking approval. When you stop being available to everyone, you become available to yourself. Your thoughts settle, your emotions stabilize. You begin to move through life with a quiet confidence. You no longer rush to fill space with words or time with tasks. You understand that doing less often means being more. You become a person of presence, calm, deliberate, unbothered. The Stoic application. Stoicism teaches that mastery over the self begins with mastery over attention. When you stop being constantly available, you practice this mastery every day. You resist the urge to react. You choose to engage only when it aligns with your principles. You act rather than be acted upon. This is not withdrawal. It is elevation. You are not isolating yourself. You are refining yourself. And through this refinement, your actions become intentional, your relationships purposeful, and your peace untouchable. A new kind of freedom. True freedom isn't found in doing whatever you want. It's found in not being owned by what doesn't serve you. When you stop being available to the trivial, the draining, and the unnecessary, you make space for clarity, for meaning, for depth. You start living by design, not by demand. You realize that you don't owe your time to everyone, only to what aligns with your highest values. And from that awareness grows a kind of freedom that no one can take from you. This is the essence of the Stoic path: to be grounded amidst chaos, to be calm amidst noise, to be selective with your energy and generous only where it matters. When you stop being available, everything changes. Not because the world becomes different, but because you do. You start to live from the inside out. You no longer need to chase validation or cling to distractions. You carry peace with you, wherever you go. And that peace, that quiet strength, becomes your most powerful presence. If this reflection resonated with you, remember to subscribe to Menzi